All right, guys. So welcome to the first live event that we're doing. And basically, this is going to be like a project we're going to be building together. This is a way to keep everybody accountable to code. And, I'm taking out of my time to make sure that I provide this service to you guys where, you know what, once a week, we sit down and we build this project. Now, what exactly is it that we're going to be building? We're going to be building the Louis Vuitton store. Okay, let me see if I start sharing the screen. So we're gonna build a Louis Vuitton store, and we're gonna start from every process, from every step. We're gonna start with the HTML, CSS. Then once we do that, we're gonna also go in and we're gonna go into the next stage, which is gonna be to work with hydrogen, and pretty much is just React, right? If you guys have any experience with React, you're gonna be at home. For those of you guys that have no experience with React, it's fine. As as you follow with the project every week and we build this together, you're gonna learn, how this thing works and how to build a website like this. Then from there, we're gonna connect it to Shopify, and then we're gonna deploy it. So it's like the full process of creating an e-commerce store, and we're gonna do it together. Okay. Hopefully you guys are excited for this, as I am too. And yeah, man. So the first thing that we want to do is let me go in and share the screen. So this is the screen where everything is gonna go down. Okay. First thing that I want to do is open up like a tab somewhere on your computer. You could open up on a browser, go to the Louis Vuitton store. Okay. I'm just gonna search Louis Vuitton. Okay, and this is the URL, us.louisvuitton.com. I'm going to also save an image of this for anybody that watches this in the future. So this whole design, so you guys can have it, because I'm pretty sure every 6 months they change the website a bit. So I want to keep track of how it looks. So like that, when you're taking the project in the future, somebody's taking it, somebody missed a video or missed a week or whatever, they could always watch the replays, and from there they could just follow along. I'm getting a lot of people that's still coming in, so we're gonna give them a few more minutes. After a certain amount of time, we're not gonna let nobody else in. Just like I sent the email, by 7:15, we're getting started. Okay, so we're gonna take it like this. We're gonna take it one step at a time. We're gonna build each section on the website. We're gonna start with the desktop version first, because we don't have the designs for like mobile. And yes, we can make it mobile, but me personally, I'm the type of developer like I prefer to start with the desktop, because I feel like the desktop version is more harder to do than doing it with the mobile version. So I'm the type of person I'd rather knock out whatever's hard first and then do the easy parts later on. Okay, so that's the approach. I know some people they like to go in and start from mobile first and then start building it from there. I do it desktop first and then mobile. Okay, so pretty much, again, we're gonna have each section here. The first one is gonna be like this bar right here, which has like the icons. Also, too, it has some links. It has to shipment to United States. How can we help you? The phone number. Okay, then from there you have the main bar, which is the navigation. You also have the logo. You also have product search, right? Then from there, you basically have a very simple layout, which is just full screen, right? Full screen video playing. Same thing over here, same thing over here, same thing over here. Okay, it's very similar. And then from there, you have like 2-column layout. And then at the bottom, you have basically the footer. Okay. So that's what we're going to be doing. This is going to be pretty simple. I don't know if we're going to be able to get through every single thing, right? As far as like once we get into the sections here, which is the mega menu. The mega menu, we're probably going to do this on the next time, right? And so we're going to do a home page. We're going to do the mega menu. We're also going to do a product page, and the collections page. So this right here is what we consider a collections page. So this is like a list of products, right? Or like a group of products. And this is what we consider a collections page. And then we're gonna have the product page, which looks like this. Okay. So that's pretty much all we need. Now, most likely what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a modal for the checkout. So I believe with the Louis Vuitton, what they have is on their products. Let me see. I'm trying to see if we get one that actually has products that we could go in and try to buy. Okay, placing cart. Okay, and they have something like this, which is like a modal. Okay, you could choose to continue shopping or view my cart. Now, we're not going to go and create a cart page. What we're going to do is we're just going to have everything inside of the modal. And then if the person is ready to buy, it's going to click, checkout. And then from there, it's going to go to the processing payment gateway of Shopify. And that's how we're going to do it. But this is like pretty much at the end. Once we get to this, the project is basically over. All we have to do is just deploy it after that. Okay, so yeah, let's get started. I mean, any questions before we even move on? Let me see if I could go in and stop sharing the screen. If you guys have any questions, this is the moment. Ask your question, okay? If not, what I'm gonna do is once I start coding, I'm gonna mute everybody. And as we finish one section, we're gonna stop there, take a break, right? And then we're gonna ask questions like, hey, why I chose to do it like this or whatever it is. If you got stuck, if you didn't understand something, then that's when you wanna go in and start asking questions, okay? Make sense? So like that, it could be easier for us to manage having, all the people that's in here. Another thing that I wanna mention is that there is no finished code. Okay, so I'm not doing this with like I have one screen right here with the finished code. We're basically building this together as we go. Like I ain't practiced this. I don't have the finished project. So whatever mistakes we find, that's good because that's where we're gonna have those conversations and figure out why we have those problems. Okay. Does that make sense? Anybody got questions? I see Karen got a question, her hands up.
Hey, Joe. Yeah, I'm just kind of skimming the chats. I think the general consensus is people want to know, do they raise their hand? Do they just unmute their mic and ask their questions? Or do they put the questions in the chat? How can they engage when it's time to ask questions?
So y'all can ask questions in the chat, but and y'all could have conversations in there too amongst each other. Me personally, I think I'd rather go in and like finish a section and then stop and then from there start answering the questions. So like that, we could get something done and then from there we could go in and answer the questions and any problems that anybody had, because if we have 50 people, like let's say if I put something up and then everybody's like, hey, why you did this? Why you did that? Like there's no way we're gonna ever finish this. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense for all of you guys. So go ahead, George. You got a question?
Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to ask about the certain assets we're going to need for the project, like images, videos. Do we need to are we going to download that on the spot, or do you have like a GitHub link that we go download?
You can add whatever images you want. I'm probably just gonna get images from like pexels.com, and I'll probably, and again, y'all could open up a new tab and just get some images. As you can see, this section here, there's really not that many things that we have to put in. So it's like, okay, one image, and this things here, we could put it in as images, and later on we'll bring in video, like a video player to do this. But for now, it's just about placing everything and, getting the layout done first.
All right, thanks.
Okay. So, all right, guys. So if nobody else got any more questions, y'all can raise your hands. Again, so if you don't know how to raise your hand, you click on the reactions button And then from there, you could go in and click on raise hand. Okay. Tone, you have a question? Unmute yourself and then from there you could get started. Tone, I can't hear you. If you're talking, you're
Okay,
muted.
you hear me?
Yeah, now I hear you.
Okay, I don't. This first time really doing a Zoom thing. All right. Let me just go back to what you said as far as the images, right? Now, when because I got a PC like you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do I take the images off of here?
So you could take the images by just copying the URL. So if you right click anywhere that you see like an image, right? Like even this down here, you could just right click it and you can see where it says copy image address. I don't know, let me see if I could show this to everybody. So anything that is an image that we can take, some of these things are videos. We're not going to be able to take the videos, but anything that's an image, you could just right click it and you see over here, you have an option on Google Chrome, copy image address. And that will give you the URL for it.
Okay, copy image address.
Okay.
Appreciate
So,
it.
And also too, like you could go in and just search for an image. Don't worry about it has to look exactly how I'm doing it, the same image. You could add whatever image you want, like freestyle, like come up with your own idea in the sense of what images you want to add. You could literally go to pexels.com and search fashion, right? And then from there, you could literally go in, click on the image, click it, right click it, copy image address. That's it. And now you got an image. Okay. So whatever it is.
I'm sorry. Let me ask you this, right? Could I just like code along with the rest of the group and then later on get back to it later on and get later?
Yeah, you could always you do it how you want to do it, right? You don't have, like I said, you don't have to do everything exactly how I'm doing it. And as far as like the images, but you know, the images you could always change that later on. Okay. So yeah. So let's get started with this. I'm gonna go in and give me 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna mute everybody. So just follow along. All right. All right, cool, guys. So the first thing that we want to do is just pretty much open up VS Code. So I have VS Code right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and click on open folder, right? And I'm going to find the location where I have all my projects. Now for me, I have my projects inside of a folder called projects. You guys decide where you want to put your projects. Now in here, I'm going to create a new folder. And this new folder is going to be the location where I'm going to have all of my files, right? So in here, I'm going to rename this and I'm going to call this, let's say LV or Louis. I'm just going to call it Louis. Call it Louis. Sometimes this VS Code be acting up. So in Windows sucks, by the way. So if that happens to you and it's acting up, just go to your projects folder. Okay. Let's see right here. Did it turn to Louis? There you go. So it's named Louis. So then now I'm going to click cancel just so VS Code could load up the new folders. Okay. All right. Give me a second. And there we go. So now I'm in here, click select folder, and there we go. So now this is our location for our files. Okay. So in here, I'm going to go in and basically I'm going to create the files that we're going to need in the folders. I'm just going to create an index.html file. Okay. I'm going to create a folder for CSS. Okay. All right. And there we go. Okay. So that's all we're going to need. Then from there, I'm going to come here and we're going to take a look at what we got to build. So this is the first thing that we have to build, this first section. Okay. It basically has some menus here, right? Or let's say links. And then from there, it has some other icons on the right side. Now, we could create a section, and then once we create that section, we could divide each group right here into its own section by itself. So we could use like a div to basically make it into two different groups, right? And then inside of that, we're going to go in and add all of the different parts of it, okay? So I'm just going to come here. I'm just going to build a super basic, starting point, just an HTML tag, put in the head tag inside of it, put in the body tag. That's all you really need. Inside of the CSS folder, we're going to go in and create a new file. And this file is going to be called styles.css. Okay. And then now we're going to come here. And let me see if I put this a little bit bigger for all of you guys that are watching. Okay. Inside of here, I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a link tag. Okay, just like that. And then we're going to go for the CSS folder, right? CSS/styles.css. And Karen, if you're on right now, I think I made you a co-host. I don't know if you see some people are popping up as they want to get admitted. If you could do that for me, I will really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Gotcha.
Thank you. Okay, cool. So then now the next thing that I want to go in is I want to go and use this thing called live server. Sometimes it doesn't pop up, which is it's an extension for VS Code. Sometimes it doesn't work. It doesn't pop up. So in this situation, we're going to search for this. We're going to search on the extensions, live server, right? Okay. And if it doesn't pop up, it means that we're going to have to start this up from here. Okay. This is live share. Sometimes I got a lot of extensions and that gives you a little issue. But let me save this. Okay. Save this file. I'm going to open up VS Code one more time. Okay. It should open up to the same folder. Okay, so again, just in case it doesn't, just go back into your Louis folder, and there we go. Now you will see this extension here is called live server, and it says go live. So you click there and then click allow access. And basically what that's gonna do is gonna set up a server for us. So we could go in and start building our project. And at the same time, it will have like live reload. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Don't worry about it. It don't cost you anything to do Command R, Control R, or refresh it through here. Okay. These tools are supposed to work, but sometimes they don't work, and that's fine. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to start with the first thing, which is the first section. So this section right here, we're going to call this one class name top nav. Okay, now remember I told you we're going to create two different groups. So I'm just going to call this one A for now. Copy this, paste it here, and I'm going to call this one B. Okay. I'm going to save that, and let me see, account settings. Okay. And there we go. So we got A and B. So now going back to over here to the Louis Vuitton store, this is the things that we want to add. We want to add a section that's going to have an icon of an American flag. For now, don't worry about the icons. We just got to know that, yes, there's an icon that's supposed to be there. Okay. We have ship to United States. Okay. Can we help you? The phone number, sustainability. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this text, right? Just to make it simple for us. We're going to go in and paste this here. Okay. So of course we don't have the icons, so that's fine. But now inside of the section, right, this div, I'm going to come in and I'm going to create another div. Now this one is gonna be called class, and I'm just gonna say menu or links, right? Now go in, close this one, just like that. All right, and there we go. Matter of fact, now we're also gonna use BEM for this. So for this, we're gonna call this one top nav, right? We're gonna say class name or class. I'm thinking of it as like React, but class. We're gonna say top nav __, and then in here we're gonna say group A. Okay, group A. Okay, and then for this one, we're gonna call this one top -nav __, group A links, just like that, or link, sorry. So in here, I'm gonna take the text that we got. I'm gonna paste this here. Okay, and then now I'm just gonna copy this multiple times. Paste this here, paste this here. Okay, so going back to how it looks. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now with this, I just gotta go in, paste the text here. Can we help you? Let me see what's the number. Okay, so can we help you by itself, and then the number, and then sustainability. So take this, paste this here, and then take this here. Okay, so this is what we have, right? So we have a section called top nav, right? This is what we're calling the top nav, this whole section here. Then we have group A, group B, okay? Now inside of each group, then from there we have the links, which we have right here, okay? So, okay, oops, come back over here. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we're gonna go in and we're gonna do the other groups. So I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna come here and say the other group is gonna be called top -nav __ group A. I actually call this grupa, so that's fine. Okay, just make sure you call it group A. So, okay, just like that, group A. So this one is called group B. And then this one's gonna be similar to what we had before. But this time we're gonna call this one group B. And we're gonna say icon, okay? Now for now, since we don't have the icons, we're just gonna call this A. You can put in like a like a character for now, just so you know that there's something in there. Copy this, paste this here, paste this here. Let me look how many icons we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then we have the icon right there. Okay, pretty nice. Okay, save that. Now, another thing that you want to notice here is that on the icons, I don't know if you guys could tell, we have this little like notification button up here. So that's pretty much another element that we have to add. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna say top nav group B icon, and then I'm gonna add in here another element, and I'm gonna say div class top nav __ group B, and then this one's gonna be noti, so NOTI for notification. Okay, gonna close this, and from there, I'm gonna just put in the number of 1. Okay. Now, once we get to the CSS, we're gonna go in and we're gonna align this properly with the icons and everything. Okay, so let me save this, and there we go. Okay, cool. So, any questions you guys might have, let me know right now. Anything that you guys, are you guys okay? Anybody having issues right now? Are you lost? Somebody says, thank God this is being recorded because I'm already lost.
How's it going, Joe? I got a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. I just have a question. I just started taking your course. I already have some previous knowledge. I've done Team Treehouse on and off for about 2 years, so I do have some knowledge. But the BEM or BIM, I'm not sure how to properly say it, the way that you do CSS. Can you expand on that? I've read about it, and right now I'm in the middle of building a mock Facebook, but I would love to get kind of like the way you break things down just to understand exactly what BIM is. But I have read about it, things like that. But I would just like kind of your interpretation, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, so BEM to me is like a way to name your elements, right? I believe was it block model, was it modifier? Hold on, I can't even
Block
remember.
element modifier.
Yeah, block element modifier. Yeah, block element modifier. So technically the way how this thing works is like this. Let's say when you're building a section, a component, an area, right? Sometimes we go in and we give it random names, right? And sometimes we might give it a name that, let's say header, or maybe we could say menu. But guess what? There's other places that are named menu too on the website. Okay. Now, when you go in, you use BEM, right? It saves you from that headache of like, oh, I named this menu somewhere, and guess what? If I change this background red, it's gonna affect somewhere else. Okay, because every naming here is basically an original name to that specific element.
Okay, I see.
That's the idea. Now, why I named this top nav? Because guess what? We're not gonna name anything else on the website top nav, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, when you go in, you say, okay, top nav, right? Then you got the underscore. This right here is the name of that specific element, okay? And then you could basically say, this right here is group A. Now, let's say in the future, I wanted to create a dark mode version of this, right? I could easily come here and say, I know I'm targeting the top nav group A, but I could also say I want to target the dark mode. So now anything that has to do with dark mode, I'm going to say -- dark mode, right? So now it's basically creating an original, basically an original class. Because technically, if I wanted to, I could just call this top nav and then call this one group A, then group link, or etc. But then if I wanted to target them, each one of them, I will have to go in and say, for example, top nav, right? Then space group A, right? And then if there was something inside of it, I will say link, right?
Okay.
This is the part of CSS specificity. I always get that word wrong, but it's basically just being specific of a specific element, basically, right? That you're targeting. Now, instead of you having to do this, now you could just easily come in and say, you know what? I know nothing else is named that. So I could just say top nav, group A. And then from here, I could target and another element that might be inside of it. I could target it like that. Or I could easily say, you know what? I don't want to target this to be inside of this element. I just want to target by itself. So I will say top nav underscore link. You get what I'm saying? So now you're still being specific, but without having to go in and go on so many levels, because you could have a whole bunch of elements within each other. Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. And just so that I'm fully understanding you, I just like to repeat myself back from what I learned, and maybe this will help out the class. So essentially, when you break it down like that, you're able to look at your CSS, it's a lot easier just to follow along and things like that, because you know exactly where everything's going, as opposed to if that it was broken down, it would be very hard to follow strictly off of just reading the CSS. What are those called?
Where it's coming from, like the
the class. Yeah, the class. Okay.
So it's like if I was to go in and you know have elements, you know, start targeting elements that are a child of another element, right? At some point, it could get messy, and you could have like a super long CSS selector like that, right? But with this, it's easier because now you could just target everything in order. So you could go in and say, okay, cool, I'm targeting the top nav. Then I'm targeting the top nav group A. Then I'm targeting top nav group link. So the way how I like to make sure that my code is written a certain way is by making sure that if I'm working on the top header on the top nav, like I have that all the way at the top, right? And then whatever comes next, I'll go in and start working on that, you know, in order. And I also like to keep everything in order the same way how I have it in the HTML, because it's easier for me to remember, oh yeah, I'm targeting the link. Guess what? The link is inside of group A. You get what I'm saying?
For sure.
So
Yeah, I really appreciate the explanation. Yeah, for sure.
So it's much easier to follow. Okay. I see Tone got a question, and we're gonna do like quick questions, guys. So go ahead, Tone. You gotta unmute yourself.
Okay.
You gotta remember that.
Yes. Yeah. No, just a quick question, right? You said that this is being recorded?
Yeah. Everything's
because I'm an ex-truck driver. I don't type fast. So, but I'm keeping up though. I'm definitely doing this. So I get the game from you. And after you record it, being as though this is like a exclusive situation, how would I be able to see the recording later? Because I'm quite sure you probably ain't putting it on YouTube.
Yeah. So that's another thing too. Thank you for, you know, asking that question. So this project here is really for the Diamond members, right? Like this is something that we are providing for the Diamond members. We are allowing everybody to come in today, try it out, see if you like, if you feel like this might be for you. You might say, hey, I might like this. I like this type of structure of you know, building projects together, asking questions live, right? Keeping myself accountable, you know, going to the meetings. Every Monday we have a meeting, talk about the things that people did throughout the week, the problems that they're facing, the things that we can help them out, any questions that they might have, right? So you're pretty much getting the demo today. Now, for all the Diamond members, this is the norm. This is what they're gonna have, you know, next week, the same project, you know, we're gonna continue building it. For everybody that's new to this is the demo day. You basically, you got a glimpse, you're getting a preview of the things that we're going to be able to do here on, you know, CodingPhase and for the Diamond members, right? But again, this is a very legit project. And even at that, like once we finish the project, right, I might just go in and package this up as a course and, you know, give it to you guys anyway. So if anybody that's here says, you know what, I don't know if I want to be a Diamond member, but I would like to do this project, guess what? The same recordings, I might just package it up and you guys get access to it. But just you know, the physical, the live meetings is gonna be for the Diamond members. Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, as far as like the recordings, we still gonna you're still gonna have access to that. Maybe not right now instantly, you're gonna have it in the future. So if you decide to upgrade, you get it tomorrow morning. It's gonna be there. For everybody else, it might be a month from now. You get what I'm saying? But definitely. So okay, cool. So now we have this here. I think we're gonna move on to the next stage. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, and you all right. And let's get into this. Okay, so we have this thing's already done. Okay, we pretty much have the top nav already placed, right? As far as the HTML goes. Now, the next thing that we have to do is actually go in, and we could take two steps in here. We could say, you know what? It will be nice to have the icons, right? Or we could just say, let's just start working on the CSS. Now, because I'm more of a visual person, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are too, I'm just going to go in and say, you know what? Let's get the icons, right? Now, we can easily search for Font Awesome, right? And we can search for Font Awesome 5 CDN. So this is going to allow us to get Font Awesome's icons, right? They got the 6 now, so this is pretty cool. So we're going to get the preview. Okay, we're going to copy the link tag here. Okay, again, just Google Font Awesome 5 CDN. It's going to take you to cdnjs.com. And then from there, you could just literally copy right here, this button. It says copy link tag. You copy that link tag and you come here to your head tag and you paste it right here. Okay. And with that, we're going to have access to the icons. Now, these icons are not going to be exactly how they look on the Louis Vuitton store, but is really about just to have something that represents the icons, right? They're not going to be exactly like them. Maybe in the future, we'll go in and find better icons where we could go in and place them manually. But for now, this is just a good way to get some icons in here. Okay, so now the next thing that I want to do, once we have this icons here, I'm going to open up Font Awesome, right? Because I don't know every single class for each icon. So I'm going to go in and look at what we need. So we need American flag. Okay, American flag, question mark, a phone. Okay, so let's start with those. American flag, question mark, and phone. So in here, we could just literally search American. Let's see if they have an icon for that. Okay, they don't, but I'll go in and use this one, the Globe Americas. This is fine. Copy this. So this right here is going to give us the HTML tag with the class names. And then we could just paste this right here. So this is the first one. Okay. This is going to have the class name and everything. So let's see if everything works. We should see an icon. Okay. And there we go. So we do have the icon. So yes, it's working. So then now the next one was question mark and a phone. So let's search question, right? So we could go in, copy this one, copy the HTML, paste this here like that. The next one is a phone. Okay, so in here, all you have to do is search phone and it should give you a phone. So I'm gonna get this one, which is like a mobile phone, similar to what the Louis Vuitton store has. Of course, it's not the same icon. Okay, save this and there we go. So we have the icons there. Now let's go in and get the other icons that we need. So in this one, we need like a map, a pointer, a heart, a user, and a cart. So let me see if I remember. Okay, so let's say map, search map. Okay, so there we go. We got map marker, copy this. Now this is on group B and we paste this in here. Now the next one was, I got bad memory. Next one was heart and user. Okay, so search heart. Okay, and we could get the heart right here. Copy the heart, paste this here. Okay, for FA heart. Okay. And then the next one that we have is user. And let's copy this one. Paste that there. And then I believe the other one was the notification for the cart. So come back here, search cart. Okay, and here we go. Okay, and there we go. All right. So this is what we have so far. We basically just added the icons. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Anybody has any questions? If not, I'm gonna move on. All right. Okay, cool. Nobody has questions. All right. So once we have added the icons here, right, we have everything placed in the right location, right? We just basically did everything that we needed to do as far as the HTML goes, okay? So then now we're gonna go in and we're gonna start working on the CSS. Because right now, as you guys can see, when you write HTML, if you have no CSS and no styles on them, it just looks like plain text, okay? So then now we're gonna go in and we're gonna start styling this up, okay? So the first thing that I wanna do here is I wanna make sure that all of this sections, right? All of these icons that we see here and everything, we have it centered, right? So there's like a equal padding from here to here, from here to here is equal padding. So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna start by going in and giving a nav, the top nav, which is like the section itself, a padding on its own, okay? So in here, let's go in, say top dash nav, and then curly brackets. Then in here, we're gonna use flex. So we're gonna say display flex. And then here, we're gonna go in and say, give this like a padding. Okay, padding, let's say start small because we don't know exactly what's the size. So we're gonna say padding 20 pixels, right? And that will give it 20 pixels all around, but we don't wanna give it any padding to the left and to the right yet. So we just want the top and bottom. So we could just say 20 pixels, top and bottom. And then here we could go in and say 0, and that will put 0 padding on the left and the right. Okay, so we see a little padding in here. Now, another thing that I want to do is I want to go in, let me make sure that the CSS is actually being loaded up, because sometimes that happens. Okay, so, okay, you see? So it failed to load the CSS. So style, right? I put style and it's actually styles.css. So of course it's not gonna load up. Now let's save this. And there we go, okay? So once we put in display flex, this is how it looks. It's basically taking both groups, group A and group B, and putting them right next to each other. So then now, this is where we're gonna go in and start moving them one on one side and one on the other side, okay? So here we're gonna say display flex, or is it justify content, okay? Space between. So what that's gonna do is gonna take whatever items you have inside of that top nav. So any child or direct child of the top nav is going to go in and split them up evenly. So it's gonna have a space in between them and it's gonna be split up evenly. So right now we only have 2 groups, okay? So since we have 2 groups, what it's gonna do is gonna send the top group A to the left and top group B is gonna send it to the right. Okay, save this. And there we go. As you can see, we got the icons here and we have everything else over here on this side. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that inside of the top nav group A, any items that are inside of that top nav, we want it to go in and become inlined. Now, back in the days, we could say inline block for each one of these elements, but with CSS Flexbox, we could just go in and do the exact same thing that we just did right now, say display flex, and they're all gonna align right next to each other. So let's do that right now. And let's say right under here. And as you can see, this is why I like using BEM, because now I could just come here instead of me trying to target top nav, group A, right? I don't have to do that. I could just go in and say top nav, _ group A, and then just like that, group A, and then now I could just target this by itself and say display flex and save that. Okay. And there we go. So now it's aligned horizontally right next to each other. Okay. Then from there, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to come in. Give me a second. Because technically we want to give this some spacing, right? But just to have this visually set up, I'm going to go in and create this to be display flex too. So I'm going to copy this and say group B, display flex. Save that. Okay, and there we go. Okay, and don't worry about the number. The number, we're going to fix it at the end. Okay, cool. So once we do this, now we got to go in and we got to think about what's the color of this, because this, I don't believe, is the color of white. Okay, I believe this is another color. Now, if you don't have the design, but you have like you could take a picture, like you could take a screenshot of this, okay, if you wanted to. But since we already have this on a website, I'm just trying to find the background color of it. Okay, so let's see, header row. Okay, this is the box shadow. I just want to get the background. They're also using, like, I think Vue.js for this. So their HTML is a little bit fucked up. Sorry if I curse. But yeah, so the HTML is not that good. But I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna use like an off-white for this. So let me see. Come over here. I'm gonna say the top nav background. Right, the background is gonna be. I'm just gonna use white for now. Then I'm gonna click here, and this is gonna allow me to choose a different color. Okay, so this is what we call a color picker. So I'm just gonna put in like a brownish color because that's like the color that it has. It's just that we can't really see it that well. So it's like a little brownish color right there. Okay, so that's the color. Is F1E9DF. So save that. And usually they have that in like the Louis Vuitton or Louis Vuitton, Gucci. They have like a sort of like a white color, but it's like mixed with brown. And they usually do that because of their bags. I don't know. I guess that's luxury or something, that color. But I've seen that done plenty of times on different places. Okay. Now, one thing that we forgot to do was a CSS reset, right? I was so hyped to get in there and start coding, right? As you guys can see, there's a margin all around this, right? And that's what comes with the browser. So we need to create a CSS reset or get a CSS reset. So we could go in and search CSS reset. And I'm just going to use the most basic one. Okay. Copy all of this here. Okay. And then from there, we're going to go in, create a new file, call this reset.css. We're going to paste the code that's inside of the CSS reset. Again, for those of you guys that have never done this, literally you go in, you have your CSS tools, right? This is the website Meyer Web. This is probably one of the oldest CSS resets. This has been around since I used to be a little kid. Like, that's how old this thing is. But it works, okay? So you copy this code again and just create a new file called reset.css and paste it in there. Now, I usually like to start with putting an asterisk right here, okay? Curly brackets, and put in box sizing border box. This is just to make sure that when we start working with responsive sizes, like, it's not it's not fluid. It's like if we say this thing is 400 pixels, it means it's 400 pixels. Okay. It's not going to count the padding inside of it. It's not going to count the margin. We want it to be 400 pixels exact. Okay. So you do that by just putting in box sizing. And what this does is it basically says every element on the website, right? Every single thing that's on the website is going to have this default settings of box size and border box. Okay. So then now we save that. And then now over here, we've got to come in and load this up. So I'm going to say link over here and then click link CSS. And it's going to basically create the style sheet or the link for the style sheet. So in here, we're going to say /CSS/reset.css. And automatically it's going to be like that. And then what I like to do is I put it all the way at the top, right? So it could reset the CSS of the browser, the default settings that it has. Then from there, I want to go in and have like whatever fonts or anything that we might need, right? And then we want to have our own styles. So when we have our own styles, we could overwrite anything that is inside of other CSS files. This is why this thing is called cascading style sheets, right? So basically it's in order. Whatever is on top gets overwritten by whatever is at the bottom, okay? So then now that we have the CSS reset, we can see that now, you see, we have no more spacing around this and we have no more styles that's added by default. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we want to look at this and we want to say, okay, even though we could go in and get the actual sizes, I want to eyeball it, right? This is something that you got to train yourself, right? You got to train yourself how to eyeball things. Like you look at how something looks and you say, okay, cool. I know that's not 16 pixels, so it got to be smaller. So you could come in here and you could say, let's go in for anything that's inside of group A. Let's say font size, say 0.9 rem. So that if you put in 1 rem, that means it's going to be 16 pixels. If you put in 0.9 rem, what that means is basically 90% of 16 pixels. Okay. Think about it like that, right? So it's 1 rem is going to equal to 16 pixels. 0.9, it will mean, hey, this is actually whatever 16 pixels is, 90% of that, right? Think of it as percentages, right? So coming here, look at how this looks. And now we got the text a little bit smaller. Is it the same size? Sort of, right? But again, we have a serif font, and this is actually a sans serif font. If you look over here, serif fonts are the ones that have the little arms or little curly things at the end of the typography, right? Or the text. Now, sans serif fonts don't have that. They're just like plain. So we could go to Google Fonts and we could see over here like the different types, right? So we see Roboto, etc., right? But you could see right here the different categories. Serif fonts are the ones that, think of it like this. This is simple as possible that you could always remember the different types of fonts. Serif fonts are the ones that you see on a newspaper. Sans serif fonts are the ones that you see like on a website or on an iPad, on your iPhone, on your mobile phone, right? And the reason that is because it's easier on the eye when you're reading on a digital screen. Okay, serif fonts are usually used for paper. Okay, so again, just to give you guys a preview, serif fonts always have like a little line on the A's, a little line on the L's, a little line on the K, or you might see a little line on the W's. Now, sans serif fonts don't have that. Sans serif fonts are just straight up lines, just like that, with no extra features. Okay, so this is what we want to go for. Now I'm gonna choose a font for this. Let me see. Nunito. Okay, so Nunito is a very simple font. It works with everything. So I'm gonna choose this one, right? And again, we search Nunito, and then from there, you go in and start choosing your different fonts. Now, we're not gonna use anything that has to do with italic. So we could just go and add like everything that is not italic. So we get like semi-bold 600, bold 700, and extra bold, which is 800. Okay, so there we go. Those are the fonts that we have, the different weights. So then now we click over here, link, we copy this. And hold on, because I have another font in here. So I have Montserrat's. Let me go in and remove this. Remove all, that is new, remove all, and just, I want to have just the Nonito, right? So I'm going to copy this text. And then I'm going to go into the index.html. And I'm going to paste this all the way at the top. Okay, save that. And there we go. Now, because we're going to be using this same font everywhere, we could copy this font family, copy this. And then now we could go to the CSS Reset. And basically, we could just put this right here. Okay, where it says font, we could just go in and paste this right here. Okay. So now what we're saying is that any elements that are in here, the default font that we're going to be using is the Nunito font. Now, if we can't find the Nunito fonts, then we're going to have a default of whatever the browser is, but we want it to be sans serif. We don't want it to be serif. Okay. So now we're ready to go in and start working on the site. So as you can see, let's see what happened. Okay. All right. So let me see. See, it's still giving me the serif fonts. So let me see what's going on with this. Inspect element. Okay. Okay, so it's giving me an error. Okay, invalid value. Okay, and that's because it's not supposed to be font. It's supposed to be font family. Okay, save that. And let's see. There we go. So as you can see, we went from serif fonts to sans serif, which is the new Nonito font that we just added. So now I'm zooming out. Okay, and there we go. This is what we have. And this is sort of similar to this. Okay, this color is a little bit lighter, but it doesn't matter. We could always fix that later on. Okay, so for now that we have this here, we're going to go in. I just realized one thing. We have a container. Okay, now a container is like an area where throughout the whole website is keeping that same container. It's like a maximum width of the element, of whatever's inside of that element. Okay, so if I put it here, I put my mouse here in this corner and I scroll down, I should be able to see everything within that container. Sometimes you're not going to see that, right? Sometimes you'll have websites like this where, I'll be honest, this is one of the reasons why I said we're going to probably improve upon what's already there. Okay, now everything that's here looks good. And you might say, well, this is the Louis Vuitton. Like, what you mean, Joe? You know more than the Louis Vuitton? It's not the Louis Vuitton. It's the people that actually designed this, right? This is no bueno, right? It's supposed to have that container in that same area. What they do is they have a container for this. They have a container for this. They have a container for this. And they have a container for the top navigation. And they're all different. That's no bueno, okay? But again, sometimes people want to be edgy and be like, well, I want to do something creative that has never been done. It is what it is. You know, everybody is free to do whatever they want to do with their websites. But when the people that know about design look at it and be like, yo, hold on, there's something off. Okay. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to put this inside of a container. So inside of the section, right? Section class, we're going to come here and create a container. We're going to say div class container. Now this is going to break everything in the sense of, remember how we went in and we had this top nav basically tell this element in here to become two different groups, one group to the left, one group to the right. So once we take all of this and we put it inside of it, we're going to lose those positions. Save this, and there we go. Then now, as you can see, the icons are here again. So in here, this is where we're going to fix this. We're going to come in and we're going to fix the CSS for this. Okay. So we're going to say like this. We're going to give this. I like to put, usually like to put the container all the way at the top. So say container, let's say max width, let's say 90%, right? Okay, and let's say width 100%, max width of 90% of the screen. So save that. Okay, and currently right now still broken, but this is where we're gonna go in and we're gonna target that container that's inside of the top nav. So right under the top nav, we're gonna say, okay, if there is a container, right? If there is a container inside of this, right? I'm gonna say top nav, the child, right? So if there is a child container inside of the top nav, we want this to go in and take this styles, which are display flex, space between. Save that. And there we go. So now we moved everything to the side. Now for the margin, right? For the container, we want the container to be centered right in the middle of the screen, okay, with a maximum width of 90 pixels. So in here, we're going to say margin, right, 0, and then auto. And what that's going to do is going to go in and basically move everything and put it centered, right? Put that container centered. And there we go. So now we have the container here. Okay, and we have all the elements on each side. Okay, now I'm looking at this and I'm like, it needs a little bit more of a container. So maybe like a 94% maximum width. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty similar to the one that we have there. Okay. Now, for now, I'm going to comment out this number because the number is actually throwing it off. So I'm going to comment that out, save that. And there we go. So now we have this perfectly. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we want to make this to be smaller, the padding. So to make it smaller, we're going to go in and target the padding that we put in the on the top nav. And we're going to put it to maybe 10, make it half the size. So as you can see, it's supposed to be like a small padding, right? And I think we're pretty close to it. So that's fine where we at right now. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go in and put in like a space in between each link that we have here. So if I'm looking at this, that could be like maybe 1 rem. Okay. Now you can use pixels, you could use rem. It's up to you how you want to do it. You know, everybody has their own style, right? Their own way of targeting things and creating things. It's your own way. And don't let nobody tell you, oh, this, you got to use this, you got to use that. No, like if it looks like the design, it looks like the design. That's it. No one can tell you this looks right. This is how you're supposed to do it. No, that doesn't work. Not in CSS. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna target this link, right? So top nav group A link. So right below the top nav, we got top nav group A. So I'm gonna say right here, top nav group A link. Okay. And then here, I'm gonna say padding right. Padding right, and we're gonna give this like a 1 rem, which is 16 pixels. Okay, and there we go. So now we have a spacing in between these. Now, I think the spacing is a little bit bigger. So let's go in and we say 1.1 rem. Excuse me, guys. So yeah, so we got like 1.1 rem. I think we can make it a little bit bigger. So maybe we could put it like a 1.2 rem. Okay. And that just makes it the space in between here and here and here a little bit bigger. Okay. Now, another thing that we are noticing is the font weight from this and this are different. So one, the size of the fonts are a little bit big, so we can make this a little bit smaller. So let me see, font size, let's put in 0.8 rem. Save that. Okay, I think that's better. Okay, and the next thing that I want to do is I want to give a spacing between the icons. So let me target the icons themselves. All right, so we want to go and target the icons, like the icons that we have right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to target any icon that is FAS, FAR, FAS that's inside of the top nav group A links. Okay. So down here, I'm going to target this and I'm going to say .fas, comma, top nav group link .far. And then now we're going to say font size 1.3 rem. Save that. Okay, so now we made the icons bigger, but this is going to be still like a small text. So then now that we did this, let's make it at 1 rem. I think it will look better. So let me see. Yeah, that's much better. Now we want to go in and put a spacing in between the icons and the text. So we're going to say padding. Or let's say margin right. Margin right, let's say 0.8 rem. Save that. That's a little bit too big. So let's say 0.5. It's a little bit, it's still too big. So maybe in this situation is where we might say, you know what, let's go in and use pixels. So let's say 8 pixels. Let's put this at 5 pixels because it needs to have a space, but it cannot be too big of a space. Okay. Now, one thing that we're noticing here is that if we look on this area here, if we look over here on this area, we can see that this text is up, right? And then this text are down. And the reason that is because since we have this as display flex, right? And then inside of this link elements, right? Basically, because we have an icon that's bigger than the text, guess what happens? Now, this is actually going in and putting the text or placing the text and the icons a certain position, and this one doesn't have an icon. So now that's why that one's higher, because it doesn't have another icon that's making the space inside of that link big. So now how do we fix this? So again, we use display flex. So on the link itself, right? So top nav group A link, we can go in and say display flex. Okay. Justify content centered. Okay. And then align items centered. Let's see how that looks. Save that. Okay. And there we go. Okay. So now it's actually making everything like centered on the right position. But again, because of the way how these icons are, okay, so everything is placed right where they're supposed to, but we can still go a little bit deeper to this. So this is group link, okay, group link, okay. In this situation, this is where I will go in and say, you know what, to make this centered completely in between the two icons or between the three icons, then I will go in and create another element for the text by itself, right? So in here, we will say span class, and then do it like this. So all the text that we have here, we're going to put it inside of a span. And in here, I'm going to say top nav _ group A dash link text. Okay, just like that. So then now, let me copy this. And I'm going to do this for all the text that we have for each link. Okay. Take the closing tag, put it at the end of the text. Take the closing tag, put it at the end of the text. Okay, and take the closing tag and put it at the end of the text. Okay, and then now we're going to target this element here. Copy this. Top nav group A link text. We're going to do the same thing. Display flex. Justify content centered. Align items centered. Save that. Okay, and we still having that same issue. And it really comes down to the icon. All right. Those icons are not perfect as far as like each icon, even though we say font size is 1.1 rem or whatever we add to it, they're not perfect. So in that situation, this is where we go in and say, okay, cool. So if that's not working, then we could go in and place this and use like a positioning relative. So for each icon that's inside of here, the icon themselves, we're going to say position relative. So relative to the position that they're located at, we're going to go in and say top minus, let's say 2 pixels. So it's going to go up. Okay, and there we go. So what I was trying to do, just in case you guys wasn't noticing, I was trying to make sure that these icons are like to the left, but then also too that they are centered, or the text that's here centered in the middle of the icon, right? And you could do it like that. Again, this could be a little bit better centered, but it's fine. It's such a small icon that you can't really tell. Okay, so that's done. Okay, now the next thing that we have here is the next section, which is this icons here, and we're going to jump into that right now. I'm just going to take a little break so you guys can ask any questions that you guys might have. So let me know. Anybody got questions in here? Are you lost? Somebody says, I love how many variations there are to coding the same thing. Yeah, you can pretty much, and you guys might find a better way for yourself. Like you might say, okay, I got my own little tricks, right? This is why there's a website called CSS Tricks, because you could pretty much do the same thing with a million different ways, right? And everybody has their own ways of getting the job done. So again, if nobody has any questions, we're going to go in and jump into the next section, okay? So let me go in. But I want to know, are you guys lost? Are you guys stuck? Do you guys completely, like, who's actually coding the same website right now with us? How many of you guys is doing it? And y'all could mute yourself. Y'all could go in and y'all could talk. Unmute yourself. I want to hear it. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm coding along, Joe.
Yeah,
I got
I'm
you,
coding
man.
it too.
Okay. All right.
I just want to share like the way I did it. So I just put a display flex on the actual link div,
Mm-hmm.
and just use the gap property to like put space.
Yeah.
And just align it correctly.
Nice. Yeah, there's a million ways of doing the exact same thing, like I said. But definitely. Let me see. So I'm glad that people are following through. Okay. So let me go in and continue to the next space. Okay. Go in, get this done. Okay, cool. So now we're going to the icons that we have here. So let's see how this looks. This is basically, it has like a little border at the bottom. Okay. And let me see it. And that's it. I mean, it's pretty simple. So right now, let's go in. Let me check this one out. Let's create the font sizes for this. So this one is top nav. Let me look at the name of this one. Top nav, group B icon. Okay. So let's copy this. Let's copy this, paste this here. Okay, top nav group B icon. And then for this one, I'm just gonna say font size 1.3 rem. Save that. Start with that, making the fonts a little bit bigger. The icons, I think it's supposed to be a little bit smaller. So let's try some 1.1 rem. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's a good size. So then now, next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and we're gonna basically create a padding, right? And we could technically make this into like a width. We could give it like a width. So we could say width, let's say 2 rem, and I'm just gonna make the background red so we could see how it looks. Okay, so there we go. And then now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this again display flex. And I'm gonna say justify content centered, save that. Okay, so then now the icons are centered right in the middle. All right. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so that's fine. So the icons are centered, all right? And let me see what else. So we made this into a width of 2 rem. We can remove the background red from this. Okay, now I just think the spacing is a little bit off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. Start with 4 rem. Let's make it 3 rem. Okay, that's fine. It's just the icons are a little bit too big. So let me go make it a little bit smaller. Let's say 0.9 rem, see how that looks. I guess 1 rem will do the job. Okay, so that's fine. That's perfect right there. Now we also have, if we look over here, there's like a border at the bottom. So because we don't have the color of the border, I'm just gonna right click it and get the actual color of it. I think they're using a box shadow for this. Yeah. So yeah, so they're using a box shadow. So we can copy that from here and we could do it like that. Now we could also just create a actual border at the bottom if we wanted to, but they're using a box shadow and it's fine. We could use that too. So for the top nav, put this right here. Okay. So it's box shadow. And then basically we're making like a line of 1 pixel, right? Right below the top nav. And we're saving it like that. Okay. All right. Now we can't really see it, but it's there. Okay. So there we go. So we're pretty much done with this section right here. Now I'm going to go in, trying to see for the background. So it does say that the background is white. Maybe my screen is a little bit off because I have mine saturated. So maybe that's what it is. So I'm going to go in. I'm still not going to put it white because you shouldn't be using white unless it's to highlight something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and put it like a little off white. Save that. Like as close as possible to white, but not white completely. Okay, so there we go. I think that color is perfect. So yeah, so we're done with this section right here. Now the only thing that we have to do is make this into links if we wanted to. Let's see this. This could be a link to. Okay. So for now, I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna change this. On the top nav group B, I'm going to change all of these to be basically anchor links. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to say href, just like that. I'm changing this to be some links instead of divs. Now it might be broken, or we have to add some new styles. Yeah, of course. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here, top nav group B. Let's see, so we got the icon. Yeah, top nav group B icon. And we're going to say display inline block. Save that. So let's see what's going on. So it's because we have this as this display flex that we're getting some issues. Okay, all right. So this right here is a closing tag that I didn't close it. So put in the anchor link, save that. Okay, and there we go. Now, again, we want to go and change the color of the icons. So this is like a off black. So we're gonna say okay, group icon, color. Okay. Okay, and there we go. 0E, 0D, 0D. All right, cool. Now, as you can see, because they are links, it has an underline under them. So we want to go in and remove that. So let's go in and change this to be text decoration, none. Save that. Okay. And there we go. All right, cool. So we're pretty much done with this section. Like I said, if you guys have any question, now is the time to ask a question about this section. And yes, you might say, damn, this shit took an hour and a half. That's how it is. If you want to perfect something and you want something to look good, it takes time, right? As you go in and you start building things, it becomes faster. And also too, you got to remember, I'm over here explaining everything, right? So technically this is supposed to take at least, you know, to do all of this, maybe 20 minutes, maybe 15 if you are quick with it, right? But because we are explaining, we're talking, we're going back and forth, it is an hour and a half that we already have, and we only done one section, okay? But don't worry, once we get this done, I think the hardest part really is just to lay everything down and have everything look good. But once you got that, you're pretty much done. So again, in here, we're going to do the exact same thing that we did for this one. The only difference is that we're going to have two sections, right? Just like this one. One section's right here, one section's right here, right? A group. And then this one, we're going to group all of these together. And we're going to have the second group, which is going to have input field. Okay. So yeah. Let me see. Am I bugging or there's like a annotation somewhere? Yeah, I thought I was bugging for a second. All right, cool. So then now, the next thing that we're gonna do is just this section right here, this top menu. So this one is pretty much the same thing, okay? And we can go ahead and copy what we did here, save us some time. Let me see. We got to take this off because I know some of you guys are fucking around with trying to get annotations and shit like that. Please don't do that. If you're in here, be an adult, please. There's a button too. Let me see if I could disable this. Yeah, there you go. Disabled. All right. So once we copy this section of the top nav, we have this other section right here. We just copy and paste it, right? Save us some time. Now this right here, we're just gonna call this top menu, right? We're gonna have the same thing, which is a container. We're gonna have a logo section, okay? So we have gonna have a top nav group A, top nav group B, just the same way, but now we're gonna have it for top menu. So we're gonna say top menu, right? Okay. Now the next thing that we have here is the logo. So in here, I'm gonna say top menu group A logo. Okay. Now this logo is just basically plain text, and I'm just gonna say just like that. Louis Vuitton. Then from there we have another section. Let me go in. Delete this for now. So we have top menu, right? Top menu group A, top menu group A logo. And for those of you guys that might be lost where I'm at, I'm basically writing down for this, okay? And then now we're gonna have the links that we have right here, okay? Each one of these. So then from there, we're gonna go in and create a group for it. So we're gonna say div class top menu group A dash links, right? So plural, meaning that there's many of them, right? And then now I'm gonna copy exactly the same thing, but I'm gonna put it singular, which is just link. And then in here, I'm gonna make this into an anchor link, just like that. And I'm gonna say href. And I'm just gonna put in, link it to hashtag, which is just gonna bring it to the top page. So then now that we did this, we got new, women, men, art of living. So let me go in, new, right? Paste this, women, copy this, paste this, men. And then from there, we're gonna have art of living, and magazine and holiday. Save that. Okay. Now let's see what we have right here. Okay, so this is what we have so far. That's fine. Okay, and then now on this side, what we have is an input field. So for this one, we're gonna come in. I'm just gonna delete everything for this. So we got div class top nav, remove this from top nav to top menu, group B, top menu, group B, and let's say input. Okay, input. So we got top menu, group B, top menu, group B, input. And then inside of here, we want to go in and put in an icon. So let's get that icon from Font Awesome. Search. So it's this one right here. So copy this. Overwrite this. Okay, we're going to change this from a link to be a div. And then from there, we have an input field. So input type text, class name, and I'm going to come here. I'm going to say, copy this, paste this here, class menu. Okay, top menu, group B, search. Okay. And there we go. Save that. And that's pretty much it. That was super easy. That's all we need. Okay. So then now let's go in and let's actually target the logo, right? So that's the first thing we want to do. So again, we're going to go to the styles. And what I like to do is I like to keep everything in order. I mean, usually I use Sass for all of these things, but in this situation, I wanted every single person that's watching this to be able to do this project, even if they don't know any Sass or anything like that. So at least you go over all of the HTML and CSS, and then later on, we might refactor the whole code that we have right now, as far as like using Sass. Maybe we'll do that later on, because the whole point of this project is for us to come in and say, okay, somebody's brand new. They're coming in and they could do this project no matter at what level they at. Even if you're experienced, just like the other kid that was in here, he found his own way to figure it out, how to center it and how to do it. And that's fine, right? That's what I want for all of you guys. If you go in and you could do the same thing a different way, do it. It's your project, right? You just building it with me, okay? So then now, anybody that comes in here in the future, they could do that part and then follow along and with no excuses, right? That's why I wanted to go and open up Next.js. I usually do my projects with Next.js, but then I'm like, wait, hold on. Then we got to tell them how to install Node.js, how to install Next.js, how to install React, how to work with all of this. Now, let's start with HTML, CSS, and let's build upon this, okay? So we're here, top nav group B icon. So then now we're going to say top menu. And look at the order. I'm putting everything in a specific order. So it doesn't matter if I come back 2-3 years from now, I know exactly where things are located just by looking at the website and say, okay, this is where this thing is at. Now I know the top menu is coming right after it. So, okay. So top menu, we're going to come in and we're going to say padding, let's say 20 pixels. And it's going to be 20 pixels, top and bottom, 0 left and right. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine, 20 pixels. Then I'm going to come here and I'm going to make top menu group A dash logo. I'm going to say font size, let's say 2 rem, text transform, uppercase, right? So we want the text to be all uppercase. Save that, and let's look at what we have. Okay, so this is how it's looking like. Now the text is a little bit too big, so maybe we overdid it. Put at 1.5 rem, which means 1 rem and then 50% of 1 rem. So it's 1.5. Now that's looking a little bit better. Now, of course, we don't have the same font, so that's fine. Okay, it's not gonna be exactly, the same. Now I'm gonna make this a little bit thicker. We like it thick, right? So make it a little bit thicker and put it at maybe 600. Okay, so that's a little bit thicker than what we had. Maybe a little bit bigger, let's say 800, see how that looks. Now that's a little bit too thick. Let's try 700. I think 700 is the sweet spot, right? So then now that we have this here like that, we got the Louis Vuitton. Now we got to go in and target all of the other links. So what was it that we called this? Okay, so that's the logo. Now we got to target the top menu group A links. So come here, paste this. And in here, we're going to go in and say font size. I don't think we've got to mess with it. So let me see. So we have that group. Let's go in and make this display flex. Justify content. No, align items. Centered. Save that. Okay. Now, we also going to have to put this, the top menu, to be display flex. So like that, both of these, right, could be side by side. So it could be horizontally matching, right? So we're going to say, save this. Okay, hold on. Maybe I'm targeting it targeting this wrong. So let me see. So we got top menu. Oh yeah, I forgot about the container. So this is the same thing that we got to do. So we got to do the exact same thing that we did up here, but we're going to do it for the top menu. Okay. Save that. Now let's see. Top menu, container, display flex. Okay, and there we go. So we have this here, this here. So then now we got the group logo. We got to target the group A. So copy this. And then here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to say display flex. Okay, there we go. All right. And then now, okay, so we got group A, display flex, top menu, group A, logo. Let's make this a margin right. Give it a margin right of maybe 2 rems. Okay. All right. And it's not going to be perfect, but it's fine. So we're going to say, okay, so we got, let's put this like a 2.5 rem. Save that. Okay. Now, I guess for this one, we're going to make the font size a little bit smaller for the links. So let's say 0.9 rem. Okay, that's much better. And then this one has space. Okay, so this one, we're going to go in, we're going to say top menu, group A links. Then we're going to say margin right. And we're going to say 1.5 rem. Save this. Now let's see. Okay, so we might not be getting the result we want. So top menu group A links. Okay, no, so I'm putting it on the wrong one. So because we have, this is one group logo, and then we have the links, and then we have the link, which is the other one. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna say top menu underscore group A link. And then in here, I'm gonna put this. Okay. Then I'm gonna say text decoration, none. Okay. And there we go. Okay. So then now, for this here, the icons, the color, I want to go in and change the text for this to be that color too. Okay, and there we go. This is what we have. Now I'm gonna remove, I'm not gonna put in the box shadow. So remember we had a box shadow here on the top nav. I'm gonna make this into a border. So this is like that, okay. I'm gonna say border, 1 pixel, solid. And we're gonna say border bottom, 1 pixel solid. Okay. And there we go. So we have that border bottom. We're gonna take the same border bottom. I think it's a little bit lighter. So let's do it like that. Okay, and I'm gonna copy this, scroll to the bottom. And we're gonna do this for the top menu too. Put in that border bottom. Okay, so there we go. Now again, we don't have the same icons. We're not doing the exact same size. We're focusing on creating a site that's similar to this, but we're not trying to take like pixel perfect, because to be honest with you, we don't have the sizes. We don't have the icons. We don't have the same text. What we can do is eyeball it. Okay. And you could eyeball it and, make it as close as possible as you can. Okay. So then now one thing I want to do here is make this to be the links text transform uppercase. Okay. So then now let's make the font a little bit smaller. Put it put it like a 0.7. Okay, and there we go. All right. And then now all we have left is this section here. So technically, what we want to do is we want to go in and turn this. Okay, so we got the input field, border radius. Okay, so we got border radius, maybe like a 10 pixels or like 5 pixels around there. And then we have the icon right here. Okay. All right, so what I'm gonna do for this, I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna do it like this. So we got top menu, group B. Okay, and we're gonna make this. Okay, top menu group B. Let's see. Should we make this? Do we need to make this flex? No, I don't think so, because we're gonna use positioning for this. But yeah, so let's do position relative, right? So what that's gonna do is make it position relative, and then any element that we have inside of it, we can control it with position absolute. We could do it like that, right? To basically align this icon to make sure that it's inside of this element. Or we could take another approach, which is remove all of the border, remove all the background from the input field, and then have it inside of here. And then this could be just a div that we make it into a background. And the person will think that, oh, that's the whole input field. But the input field actually starts right here. So I think that's going to be a better approach for this one. So I'm going to say background color or background. And I'm just going to put in like this color here. Okay. And let me see, inspect element, just to get the color. Okay, so now background white. Okay, background. Okay, so it's the same thing. It says background white, but I don't think that's background white. It doesn't matter. We're not gonna waste time on that. Okay, so background, we're just gonna put in like a grayish color for now. Okay, so we got top menu, group B, background. Okay, we're gonna say border radius, let's say 5 pixels. Save that. Okay, so as you can see, we have the background here. Then we're gonna say width 100%, max width, let's say maximum width 400 pixels. Save that. Okay. All right. So as you can see, we got the background of this gray, right? Then inside of here, we're going to put in a padding. Ten pixels. Okay. Then we're going to copy this. And again, I'm putting everything in the order that it's there. So we target group B. Let me see. Okay. So we're targeting the group B in here, but that's not what I really want. I want to target this one, which is top menu, group B, input. So I'm going to change this. Okay. Change that for that. Okay. Because we might have to use this later on, this class of group B, and we don't want to go in and, you know, use it right now. So then now the next thing is we got this. We got to target the icon. I think it's a FAS, starts with FAS. Yeah. So the class is FAS. We're going to say font size 1.2 rem. Save that. Okay. That's what we have so far. Okay, now let's see. Copy this. Matter of fact, we're gonna have to go into the group B. So copy this, put this like that. Save that. And let's see, so. Okay, that's the top nav. Inspect this element. So we got top nav, group B. Okay, so let's see what's going on, why this isn't being targeted. This top menu, right? Top menu, group B. Let me see. Sometimes you get lost in this. Okay, top menu, group B, but the element styles is not being added. So top menu, group B, top menu, group B, input. Okay, my fault. Never took that part out, which was for the input. So save this. Okay, there we go. And then now, there we go. So that's good. Then now we're going to go in and target the top menu, group B search, which comes right after the icon. And in here, we're going to go in and make this, let me see, top menu, group B, with 100%. Background, we got to make it transparent. And then from there, once we make it transparent, we're going to also remove the border. So border none. Okay, and this is how it looks like. Okay. Now, inside of the group B input, let's say display flex. So both of them fit in there. Okay, just like that. And then now we want to remove this outline. So technically this doesn't have an outline. If we click over here, as you can see, it doesn't have an outline. Now, let me see if I remember what was the, let's see, remove input, outline. Can't remember the syntax. So it's, outline none. Yeah. So let me see. Boom, boom, boom. Group search, outline none. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so that's what we want. Now, the next thing is we want to put in a padding, a bigger padding inside of it. So, okay, let's say font size 1.1 rem. So make the text inside of the input field bigger. Then on this, we're going to put in 20 pixels. See how that looks. That's too big. Say 15 pixels. Okay. That's still too big, but go and give the icon a little margin to the right so we could push the input field a little bit. So margin right, let's say 1 rem or like 1 point or 0.8 rem better. Okay. That's too big. So since it's too big, we're gonna make the icon set 0.9 rem. Now that's too small. So 1 rem. Okay. Then we're gonna go in top menu. We're gonna make this display flex, justify content center, align items centered. Okay, and there we go. Now, of course, this color, like I said, it's a little bit. I'm gonna use that same color that we had from before. Let me see. This one. So okay, so let's try that one. Save that. Okay, and that's more similar to that color that we needed. Okay, so then now let's go in and make the padding on this maybe like a 12 pixels on the input. Okay, make this a little bit bigger because I think it goes up to like a little bit more than what we have. Okay, another thing too, we need to make this to fit. So let's do that now before we even move on to the next thing. Make the center, display flex, justify content centered. Save that. And let's see what's going on. Top menu, group A logo. Okay, there we go. That's what I was missing. Okay. All right, so let me see. Copy this. try to run this on this too. And I think that's pretty good. Okay. So then now the next one, I just want to go in and make this a little bit bigger. So maybe at 500, save this. So we can remove this and put the maximum width on this one. Okay, and there we go. Okay. So that's what we got so far, kids. All right, cool. So any questions you guys might have, anything that you guys are stuck on, anything that threw you off, let me know. We're here. You can basically unmute yourself if you want.
Hey, Joe, just a quick question. How long before this video is going to be up online?
Oh, this one's going to be up online. I don't know yet. I'll probably, I'll make it accessible to everybody. So you guys can come in and you know, see this day of this project that we're building right now. So.
Oh, it's all good. I'm a Diamond member anyway. So that's one that.
Yeah.
So I can clean up my CSS a little bit.
Yeah, and like all of this stuff, like, you know, you're gonna have the replay there. Same way how we have the accountability meetings, replays. You're gonna have this project, which is gonna be on a weekly basis. You know, you're either gonna be able to make it, and if you don't make it, then you could go in and still do the project on your own time. Okay. Now, I do recommend for everybody to be here because, to be honest with you, I think it's better because you could ask questions just like now. Now, today is the first day. Most of you guys might get stuck or whatever questions you guys might have. Maybe you're not asking them right now. I know how people are. People are shy to ask questions and things like that. But guys, this is what we're here for, right? Like, yeah. You know, so go ahead.
No questions from me. I think it's I think we're moving along pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody else, George, I see George got his hand up.
So I just came back right now after leaving for a while. I'm just wondering, if I'm interested in going on to the next membership, the one after the $20 a month one. Do you guys do this? I think it was every week, but do you mainly focus on websites, or is it like, because my main goal is to do mobile development with native, but at the meantime, like React Native is like the first goal. So I'm wondering if you do projects with React Native or if it's just all web dev.
So I focus on web dev, to be honest with you. You know, as far as like React Native, like you're gonna be a way better React developer, you know, with the courses that we have, the projects that we have here, because all of this is connected still to React Native, right? Like you're not gonna be able to do like a React Native app unless you're actually good with React. So if you're looking for that, you're gonna get that here. But this project on itself is really it's a web development project. We're basically building this, you know, from the ground up, right? We're starting with HTML, CSS, building all the pages, right? And today it's a little bit slow because today people are getting adjusted. People are following along. By the next time, I'm pretty sure everything's going to be way faster, just because, you know, we don't have to explain so much, right? Now it's like, look how easier, like it took us to knock out this section here, the first section, probably almost damn near an hour, right? Because we're explaining everything now. The second one we did in 15-20 minutes, right? So it's the same thing with every other section through this project. It's going to be way faster. You know, the first initial part is the same thing. Once we jump into the JavaScript part of this project, the first day is going to be like, okay, one little section is going to take us a while because we have to explain every single step that we're doing. But then once we get over that, all of the other components and everything else that we're doing after that is going to be, you know, straight to the point, way faster.
Joe, just quick question. So is
Mhm.
this like a part 1, 2, and 3 kind of series, like, or are we just like doing HTML today? I guess like next week doing the React JS, and then the week after doing what do you call it, Shopify?
So we're, I mean, I wish I could do that, right? Because then what I would do if, like, let's say, for example, if we was to do it that way, it would be like, okay, every day this week, we would do the HTML and CSS part. Because to do all the HTML, CSS parts is going to take about like 2-3 days, right? But I'm pretty sure, I don't know if anybody is willing to do that or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it done.
Yeah. So I mean, we could figure it out. We could, right now my plan is, every week we come in and we knock this project out. You know how, because to be honest with you, I created this space specifically for those people that be like, man, I don't know, what to work on. I don't know how to build a project. I don't know how to get started. And, they start feeling like, maybe I'll take a day off, take 2 days off. And next thing you know, now you took a week, 2 weeks off, right? This is something that now you have something to look forward to on a Thursday. We can say, okay, cool. Thursday, we're going to hop in on this. And you know what? There might be a day where we might say, you know what? Let's do Tuesday and Wednesday, right? Back to back, right? But every week we're going to be working on this project. I'm trying to knock out all the HTML, CSS parts quickly, right? Today again was like the introduction and all the stuff, but now we're gonna go over all the HTML, CSS stuff, knock out the rest of the sections that we have left for the homepage. We're gonna build the mega menu. Not today. The mega menu, we're gonna do it on the next time. Then from there, we're gonna go in and take this project that we have with just HTML, CSS. We're gonna go in and start implementing Hydrogen, right? So we're taking the static files from here, implement into Hydrogen. Once we have all of those things already set up, then we're gonna go in, connect it to a Shopify store, and then now we're gonna upload our own products to this project, and you guys can customize this. It doesn't have to be for the Louis Vuitton. I'm just taking their style, right, and their likeness, but you could go in and customize this to any other product that you might want to go and create, right?
Yeah, because that's the part that I'm pretty excited about. So I was just wondering if we were going to get to that today. I just really want to see how you convert it into Hydrogen and really understand like how Hydrogen kind of works, especially with React. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you could, you're more than welcome to go in and jump into the Hydrogen course, right, and be ahead of the class, because right now what I'm trying to give to everybody is like the whole workflow. There's people that right now they're seeing this, they're like, this shit is easy, but guess what, there's also people that right now this is all new. This is like a brand new world for them. They're like, oh man, how we're building this, etc. Right? So we're going step by step. So as I'm coming in recording each session, the new students that come in that don't know anything can come in and start working on this project, and we show them the whole process. Some of you guys already on the point where you're ready to start working with React. So now you actually have a project that you're building it. We're building it together. And then from there, we jump into Shopify. So the things that might seem so difficult in the next month, this whole thing is going to be done. And you're going to be like, oh, shoot, we done build this whole thing. And in this thing, I didn't think I could do this. You know what I'm saying? But now you went through the whole process, and anybody can jump in, because this is why I didn't want to add no SAS. I didn't want to add any of those things yet until we get all the static pages done. So like that, the users that are brand new, they don't have to be like, damn boy, I can't take this project because I don't know enough of React, or I don't know enough of Hydrogen, I don't know enough of Shopify. It's like, bro, don't worry, just come along with on this ride, and as you have questions, we answer them and we help you out. Definitely. Right?
You gotta make it responsive.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Okay.
Too.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, man. So we got, who else? I see George got his hand up. Karen got her hand up.
I did have a second part to the follow-up question to to the React Native part, the React Native question. It was, you said you focus mainly on web dev stuff, but are you also including the backend as well in that statement, or just the front end specific?
So for this project, we're not building a backend. Like in you know, there's situations where you should create a backend for a web application, but this project, we're basically focusing on how can I say this, is the front end and using Shopify, you know. So that's really where the bag is at right now. Most companies are not, and like most businesses right now are not really hiring people to go in and build them a full stack application from scratch, you know, because at the end of the day, that takes time and that takes a lot of money to get done, right? Just imagine all the things that we just did right now. This is an hour. This right here could easily be, you know, $60 an hour per developer or $80 an hour. Now, if you go in and you say, okay, go ahead and build me everything from scratch, this is the easy stuff. Once you get into the logic of the backend, you got to build all of that, you know, discounts, user authentication. You got to build all of that whole process. And that could take you, you know, 6 months, 8 months. Now, if I'm a business owner, guess what? I want my store by the end of the month. I don't have 6 months to wait until you build everything from scratch. So with Shopify, you can go in and use their platform that already provides you the infrastructure of an e-commerce business. And now for us as developers, we could go in and create basically the front end of the store, right? So create like a full website and then connect to Shopify, and Shopify handles the processing payment, handles everything else for us. You know, if you're looking for a full stack application, you should definitely check out the Shopify apps. There's no way around it. You have to build the whole backend from scratch, right? So in this project, we're not really like teaching. This is a project that we're building together. So no matter what level you're at, you get to see the whole process of building an online store, and you have something to look forward to every week to keep you on the path that you need to get to, right? Because most people, you know, if you don't have a certain structure as you're learning to code, you fall off the wagon and that's it. You give up. People do this all the time, right? So that's why we're doing this right now. But yeah, your situation, I think you're focusing on, you know, mobile apps. If that's what you really want to do and use like React Native, stick to the React path. There's already a React path in there. If you feel like this could be beneficial for you, then, you know, I think this could be something nice, you know?
I see. I thank you.
Yeah. So go ahead, Karen, what you wanted to say?
Oh yeah, just a suggestion, I guess, or something for you to consider. I don't know if you use them, those hover tooltips in VS Code. But I know like for some beginners, they could be really distracting because they kind of block out certain bits of the code as you're going through your videos and stuff. So I don't know if you want to consider turning it off when you're doing
Yeah, I'll definitely consider that. Yeah, I mean, if you know the settings, I'll do it right now. If that'll make it'll be easier for them, I'll do it right now.
Okay, okay, this is the Windows machine, right? So I think it's like file preferences. I think it's like control comma. I think that's the hotkey. And then I think you type editor.hover.enable. If I remember correctly. And
let me see. Let me search hover. I'm on the editor hover above. That's what you're talking about.
Enable.
How to hover enabled. Okay, so there we go. We just removed that.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. I'm here. I'm here to listen, guys. Whatever you might need, I got you. Right? I'm trying to help out. But yeah, so I think we have like right now, we've done, let me see, the homepage. Go to the homepage right now. Let me see, I share this right now. So right now we done did basically the header, right? We could call this the header. We got the top nav, top menu, right? Now this section's here. If you guys want, we could knock this out super quick. This is actually super easy. We don't have to waste too much time. You know, and then we could knock this out, right? It's up to you guys. We could take a break here and leave it for, you know, the next video. Maybe
do it today, man.
You want to do it today? I mean, let's see what the people want. I mean,
I don't know
you
if
know,
anybody needs a break. I'm good.
Yeah, let me know, guys. Unmute yourself. I'm here for everybody. Y'all gotta talk, man. This is not for me.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
Maybe
go
thumbs
ahead,
up
do
if
it.
you heard.
What'd you say, Karen?
I said maybe we can use the reactions. So just give a thumbs up those who are for it.
Yeah, put some thumbs up. Reactions. What we got? We don't got no thumbs down. They're PC here too. Like, yeah. I guess we got thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay. Seems like the majority of people. Well, I don't know about the majority. Hold on. I want to see some. Raise your hand. Everybody raise your hand that if you want to continue.
I'm gonna do it. I'm trying to just jump back in here.
Raise your hand.
I'm
so I
gonna
can
roll
see.
something.
Dudes is rolling already. Okay, so we got 10, 12, 13, right? 14, 15. Yeah, let me know. It's like, so pretty much, you know, 25, 35% of you guys want to continue. 16 people in here want to continue. We could continue it. We could knock this out today. This is the easiest part now. You get what I'm saying? So we could definitely do that. So I think we should just hop on this and knock this out. You know, let's just get it done. So then the next time we could go in and work on the mega menu. And then from there, we go work on the collection. And then after that, we'll go in and work on the product page. And that's it, we're done. And then we could just jump into Hydrogen and then connect everything, which is going to be super simple because it's just copy and paste. And then we jump into connecting to Shopify and then we deploy it. And that's it. The application is done. So let's do that right now. Okay. So let's continue with this. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another section here. This is going to be like the video player sections, right? Now I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to have one that's going to be just basically one button, right? And let's do that right now. Okay. So again, so we're done with this section here. I'm going to actually take this and make it into a header, put in the header tag, and take all of those elements that we created and put it inside of it. Okay. So then now I'm just selecting everything. I'm just select everything and right click and then format document. So I'm using something called Prettier, which is an extension of VS Code. You come here, you search Prettier, just like that. You install it. And then now you could right click on your file and format the whole document. And what that's going to do is just going to make it nice and clean for you. Okay. So each element is inside of each other, right? Like that. Okay. And that's what we want. So then now that we have this, I'm going to close the header and I'm going to go into the next thing, which is going to be the main section. So in here, we're going to say main. Okay. This is where the content area goes. Okay. Now in here, we're going to go in and create a section. And this section is going to be called section class. Okay. Collection player. Okay. Collection player. So in development, right? Or in e-commerce, we call each sections here like a collection, right? because technically when you have Shopify or any of the other platforms, what you will do is you will say, okay, if the person clicks on here, it's going to take them to a specific page about a specific product. Or you could send them to a collections page that's going to have all of the products that have to do with this marketing video, right? So in here, we're going to just call this one collection player. Okay. And when we use React, we're going to be able to reuse that same component in multiple places by using that name. Okay, so we're going to say section, collection player. And inside of this, we're going to put in something like this. We're going to say div class container, right? So we want to have that container. Okay. Now, what else do we need? We need a video, right? A video to play. So in here, we have a full screen video. Okay. We can actually use videos from YouTube to play. So we can do that right now. We could say, technically you will want to go and use like your own video library for this, like some NPM package. But for this situation, we could pretty much use YouTube videos. So in here, we're going to go in and search Louis Vuitton. Okay. Louis Vuitton. And there you go. It's actually, they actually have it here. So I'm gonna, I don't know. I want something that's widescreen because this is not widescreen. This is full screen. So I'm just gonna use something like this. Okay. All right, and then now we could use the share button and we can embed this video. So we could take this and it's inside of an iframe. So copy this. Okay, start at 0, 0, copy this. Okay, and then now let's go in and we're gonna put this here like this. Okay, now this we're gonna say with 100%. Okay, height 100%. Save that. Then we have the container, and then we have the button. So I believe we have a title for this. So we have Virgil was here, and then the title, then the button, matter of fact. So we're gonna say span, or you know what, use like a H2. No, let's better we use a span. So let's say span class collection dash player. And then in here, we're gonna call this one Virgil was here. Okay. So matter of fact, this is the collection player. This is, let's put in some classes to this, put this in order, paste this like this. We got collection player __ video. Then on this one, it's going to be collection player __ title. And then we're going to have an anchor link, href hashtag class collection dash player __ button. Okay, and then here we're gonna say watch or watch more. I think that's what it says. Doesn't matter. So now we have the collection player video, collection player title, collection player button. And you might be asking why we have this iframe here. So the reason why we have this one here is because we're going to make this iframe to be in the background. Okay, this div class container is going to be also too in the same area, but it's going to be above the video that's going to be playing in the background. Okay, so now let's go in and let's style this up. So come back over here at the bottom, collection player. Give me 1 second. Okay, collection player, and then save this. Okay, so we got this right here. Okay, so the player's right there. Okay, and then now I'm gonna target this. I'm gonna say height 100 VH, right? So we want this to be 100% of the view height. Okay, we're gonna say width is gonna be 100%, right? Okay, so there we go. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Okay, so it goes like that. Now, to get this to play automatically, we could press the button, but there's a way to have this. So let me see, YouTube, autoplay, embed, right? Okay, this is a setting. Okay, so all right, and right here, all you have to do is to add to this. Hold on. You have to add to this URL, which is the source of the YouTube video. You want to add a question mark autoplay equals to 1. So this is gonna get that URL. Is gonna basically, when the iframe opens up, it's gonna play the video. Now there's another thing that we want to do. We want to mute the video. So let me see. It's another audio embed. Can't remember the settings, but basically is mute 1. So and mute 1. So in here you put the ampersand and then you say mute 1. So with this, YouTube knows that you're saying, you know, ones and zeros. 1 is true, 0 is false. Okay, so save that, and then now it should play. And there you go, it's already playing. Okay, and it's muted. Now, as you can see, the video is not gonna be, you know, how it's supposed to, like in the sense of it's supposed to be bigger than this, right? Because we want this to fill up the whole screen. So this is where we go in and we're gonna hack it a little bit. And we're gonna go in and basically target this element, which is the video player itself, the iframe. And we're gonna say transform, scale. I'm gonna scale this 1.5. So that means whatever the size is, we're scaling it by its size, but 50% larger. And there you go. So then now you see the video is much bigger, okay? But it's taking the whole screen. So this is where we gotta go in and make sure that this collection player, which is the section itself, right? Section itself doesn't get any elements that's inside of it, doesn't get any bigger than what it needs to get, right? And it could get bigger, but we should hide everything else that's outside of it, right? So in here, we're gonna say overflow hidden. Save that, and there we go. So then now, this is what we have. Okay, looking nice, right? So got the video playing in the background. Now we gotta go in and work on the container. So for this, we're gonna go in and we're gonna say position relative, right? Position relative, just like that. Then anything that's inside of it, any child of this collection player, so meaning the iframe and the container, if we go and use a position absolute, then now we could say for this, we could go and place it wherever we want, okay? So let me see, what should we do here? So collection player, in here, we're gonna say, okay, we got the container. Okay. Collection player. Let me go in and create the title first. Title, font weight, 800, font size, let's say 1.8 rem, okay? Then for the button, copy this, and yes, we can't see it right now, but we're about to see it in a second. We're gonna say the same thing, but the font size is gonna be 0.9 rem. We're gonna give it a padding all around of 20 pixels. I'm gonna say a background of white, okay? We're gonna also give this color, let's say black for now. Okay. So then now, so for us to see this, we got to give the collection player video a position relative. We're going to keep it a position relative also, but we're going to give it a Z index. And we're going to say Z index of 1, right? Now, for the container, we're going to say collection player container. We want this to be position absolute. Okay, so it could float within the collection player. So think of this as a box. This right here is a box that we created. We basically say, make this box width 100%, make the height of it as big as the browser, okay, the browser window. So then now that we know as big as the browser window, now what we want to do is we want to be able to place that button right here at the bottom. Okay, so that's what we're doing now. So on the collection player, if we put in position relative, it holds everything inside of it as long as it is a child of that collection player. So now instead of using position absolute and looking at the whole position of the browser, you're only getting to change the position of that element within the parent, which is a relative, right? So that's what we're gonna do right now. So in here, we're gonna go in and we're gonna say bottom, right? So start at the bottom and we're gonna put in 2 rem. And we're gonna say Z index 2. So if this one is 1, which is the video, which is gonna be behind it, we want the actual container to be above it. So we're gonna put in Z index of 2. So it could go on top, right? So save this. And there we go. So now we got the button here and everything. We can see it. So then now this is where we go in. Okay. Change the color of the title. Color white. Okay. Now in here, let me see, what do we have to do for this one? So font size, let me see the font size that we have so far. Okay, text transform uppercase, text transform uppercase, and remove decoration. Okay. Now also too on this one, we're gonna say display flex. Okay, display flex, flex direction, right? Flex direction column. So what this is gonna do is instead of putting things next to each other, right, horizontally, it's gonna stack them up on top of each other. So there we go. So as you can see, now this is on top and this is at the bottom. Okay. Now, for this, we're gonna go in and give this a position, a width. Let me see, width 100%, right? Width 100%. Okay. Now this, we could go in and create another element, but I don't want to. So let me just see what will be the best approach without having to create another element, right? So in here, since we know for sure this is supposed to be having a margin of 0, what was it? 0 auto, right? But the maximum width is supposed to be 94%. So 94%, so that means on each side, there needs to be a margin of 3% on each side, and that equals 6. So remember, this is where simple math comes in, okay? There's 100% of the screen, okay? There's a 94% width, maximum width. So then how do we fill in an equal amount on each side? 3 on this side, 3 on this side. So then that equals to 6. So 94 plus 6, 100. So you get what I'm saying? Simple stuff. And there's other ways to do the exact same thing, but for this case, this works perfectly. Okay, so we got width 100% container. No, so I'm gonna remove that because we already have the height up there. So then now here we could come in and say margin right. Let's say margin better. So margin 0, top and bottom, but then 3% left and right. And there you go, kiddos. Okay. So then now that we have this, we're gonna go in and change this. We're gonna say title, text transform, uppercase, font weight. Let's make it a little bit thinner. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go in, put a margin at the bottom, margin, bottom. Okay, margin bottom to rem. Okay. Okay, for the button, we're gonna say font size 7 rem, uppercase. Let's say width. Let's say 200 pixels. Okay. Then we're gonna say display flex. Okay, display flex. So we could center the text that's inside of the button. We're gonna say justify content centered, align item, center. And there we go. So then now let's also remove the decoration. So the underline that's on that link. So say text decoration, none. Save that. Okay, and there we go. Now let's go in and make this a little bit bigger. So let's say for this, let's give this 100%. So let's say width 100%, right? But with a maximum width of 250 pixels. Okay. All right, and then one thing that we see is that it has like a hover effect where the opacity changes. So I'm gonna say opacity 1, but when we hover on top of it, we can change this and say hover. Okay, opacity 1, hover. We're gonna change the opacity to 0.8. Okay, so this is what changes the how translucent it is. So you see how when we hover on top of this thing becomes like translucent and you can see what's happening behind it. So that's what we're doing right now. We're changing the opacity on this button. Okay, so save that, and there we go. Okay, let me see how that looks. Okay, and there we go. That's exactly what we want. Now, the next thing that I want to do is put in like a transition. So as the animation comes in, it looks good, right? So transition, and let's say 0.3 seconds, ease in and out. Save that. And there we go. So and now it's pretty nice and smooth. Okay, so that's the first section that we have here. And we could go in and add different sections, pretty much use the same thing. Now all we have to do is just change the video on each section, and we're pretty much done with that. Okay, so collection player, copy this, paste this here. Okay, paste this here, paste this here, and paste this here. Now all we have to do is just get different videos. So I'm gonna search for, what's this guy's name? It's in Paris. I'm gonna add Paris. Okay, so it's like
when I was diagnosed,
videos that we could say they're good for like the fashion shows. Okay. Okay, hold on, give me a second. Now all we have to do is just get the ID. So I'm looking at this right here, right? So this is the video that I'm gonna put in. So all you have to do is get the ID, okay? Copy the ID of the video, and then, okay, this is one video. This is the other video below it. So I'm just gonna copy this and paste it in there. Okay, I'm gonna find another video. Okay. I'm just finding, random fashion show. Okay, so then now I'm gonna, let me see. So we got 1, okay, 1, 2. I'm gonna paste this one here. Okay, I'm just replacing the ID of the video. So remember, it goes https youtube.com/embed, and then whatever comes after that slash until the question mark, that's where you have your ID. So that's what I'm replacing right now. And then I'm going into YouTube, just getting new IDs. All right, so we have basically 4, let's see, how many sections? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let me see. I don't think there's one video I want to put, but I don't think it's letting me put it. Okay, let me try this one, which is at the bottom. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just keep, let's see. Because anything that's coming from Louis Vuitton is not letting me add it. So let me see. I gotta find other. I'll add the Balenciaga one. Let me see if it allows me. Now again, this is where you guys gotta be creative. You gotta go in and find like your own videos, right? And your own thing. Let me go up, scroll to the top. So we got section 1 right here. I'm gonna delete the second section because it's a copy of the section 1. Okay, of the collection player, and there we go. So we got 4 collection player, 4 videos playing. So when we land here, this is the website. And there we go. Now, for this one, I think we could, let me change this thing. Change the timing where it starts. So all of this, you could do it through here. You could change, like you find a video, you could click on share, click on embed, and you could change the time where it starts, right? So for this one, I wanted to start here, where instead of playing the text, it starts playing already the video. So I'm gonna start at 34 seconds. So to do that, I could come down here and also put the other option of and start equals 34. Save that. And then now, there we go. All right. Pretty nice. Now, if you guys have any questions, let me know what you guys think. Y'all understood how to do that? Y'all followed through? Did it make sense? Again, we could do a quick recap if you guys want me to. Adam Thomas says, what you saying, bro? I can't hear you.
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask you when it comes to the start, like you just did at 34. If it was after a minute mark, would that be registered in like 72 seconds, or would it be like a minute and 12 seconds? How would that?
To be honest, I'm not sure, but I could check right now. I could check. I know if, let's say, 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Where does that start? So that's at 154 seconds. So that's how it goes. Yeah.
All right, cool, bro.
Yeah. So there we go. Okay. And let's see. So I think it's looking good. The website is looking good. I think we got a pretty solid project so far. Now, of course, you know, the website's still not responsive, right? Website's still not responsive. So let me see. I'm going and share the screen real quick. Okay, so if we look over here, inspect element, click right here, refresh the page. Okay, now for mobile is gonna be different. YouTube plays a different game on mobile devices, but you know, that's where we will have to go in and tweak it and create, you know, the mobile menu for it. but I think we're good. I don't want to jump into the mobile side of things yet. We'll probably do that like at the end, right before we even jump into doing anything else with like hydrogen. But so far, I think this is good. We have everything that we need to get started. I think what we're missing here is the forum, not forum, footer, the footer. Okay. So what I'm gonna do here on this one is I'm gonna actually remove this. I don't even like the services area here, so we don't have to do that. And we just probably just do the footer and that's it for next time. Because I'm pretty much I'm done, guys. My throat hurts. I'm like I recorded for like 3 hours. But yeah.
I think we could pause here. I don't know if you want to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're gonna definitely stop right here. You know, I think for the next one, it'll be good because if we stop right here, we're gonna skip the services. I don't like how the services look. Like, yes, we're building the Louis Vuitton store, but I don't want to go in and build everything that the Louis Vuitton has because I personally don't like it. Right? As you guys can see, we are adding a container to each section where everything on the website is within this container and it looks nice and clean. Right? They're not following that. Right? They're doing containers on random. Also, too, this doesn't look good. This random, 2-column layout, to me, it doesn't look good. The footer looks good, right? But this doesn't look good. It doesn't have a nice transition from the videos when you're going from videos and then randomly just into this area here. It doesn't look good. So I'm going to skip this and we're going to go into the footer on the next video. And then we're also going to go in and build the other section, which is the mega menu, which is this. All right, so sounds good, guys?
Sounds good.
All right, cool. One last thing, let me see. I'm looking at the top section. It's fine. Now I was gonna say to add the little notification circle. But yeah, let me know, guys. Again, if you guys like the project, you guys are enjoying this. Somebody said, yo, thanks, this was great. I look forward to watching the recording as soon as it's available. Yeah, it's gonna be available probably like in an hour from now. So for those of you guys that still want to maybe go back into the code and see some of the things, you could check it out in an hour. It takes about like an hour. For every 1 hour, it takes 20 minutes to actually do the recording. So yeah, man, and I'm super happy that some of you guys, the majority of you guys survived to the end, right? Technically, we want to do this thing in under an hour, 2 hours, right? Today we put in from 7 to 10 o'clock, okay? But to me, I don't mind it. But I know for some people, to respect everybody's time, I try to keep everything under 2 hours, an hour and a half, right? But yeah, man, thank you for hanging on, knocking it out. How many of you guys actually feel comfortable with what we did today? If you have questions, guys, this is what I'm here for. Like, this is not like, well, let's watch Joe. This is really for you guys. So questions, any problems that you guys found in this project so far, let me know. Anything that I can improve so we could do it better for the next, the next section that we do. Now is the time to talk, guys. And Mavericks has something to say.
Hey, Joe. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly.
Awesome. I was going to share my screen, but you've got that disabled. I tried to position my videos absolutely so that they would scale better with the browser as it's resized. But in doing so, now I can't scroll through my content.
Yeah.
Wondering if you.
I mean, that's why I did it this way, because by you putting the video in the background, right? You're trying to put it in the background, and you're making it position relative. what you're saying is make it width 100%, height 100% of the area. But then now, because there's like bars, the only reason that we made it like how it is now is so we could remove the bars from like YouTube. You know how people could change it. You could see the play button. Technically, in a website like this, you wanted to have the video just playing seamless. You don't want somebody going back and being able to rewind the video. You get what I'm saying? So my advice is try to do it how I did it, right? So if you look over here, how was it that I did it? I came in, got the collection player, right? This is the main section. Think of this as the component, right? We have the iframe, which is going to be for the background. This is still on the same space of the collection player. Now, the only one that's positioning absolute is the container, okay? And that's because we wanted to place this at the bottom without having to disturb this one, which is going to be in the background, okay? So think of this like this. This right here, section collection player, and then they have the video player. Now, when we came in and we say position absolute, this container is not bothering this iframe at all, because the iframe technically is supposed to take 100% of the height and 100% of the width. So there shouldn't be not even one pixel left of space. So this is why we put this on position absolute. So now we are above that. We're basically on a Z index of height 2, right? Where we're above this iframe. So the space that we're on, we're not bothering, this container at all. And you could actually see this through this localhost. This is actually Windows, was it Microsoft Edge? Yeah, I think Microsoft Edge. Let me see, localhost 3000. Why it doesn't work? Sometimes this is weird. Let me see. No, I'm not on localhost 3000. That's my fault. I'm so used to
5,500.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, and I've got my height set. The way that I've got it set up, I've got a relative divider set up with a width of 100% and a padding on the top of 56.25%, with the iframe as 100% by 100%, so that there are no pixels on the top or bottom that interfere with anything. It's just not allowing me to scroll.
But that's what I'm saying. There's something that you're doing that, how can I say this? Like somewhere you might have something that is 100%, like let's say height 100%, and then you're saying overflow hidden somewhere, and then by doing that, it's basically as if you're saying, hey, the height and the width of the page is the size of the device size. So then you're never going to be able to scroll because you already said overflow hidden. So there's not going to be a scroll.
You are awesome, my friend. That was exactly the problem. I had overflow hidden on.
Yeah, so so that's gonna happen, It's like it's a little trick, little stuff like that. But yeah, this freaking how you call this? Microsoft Edge is pretty good because you could actually see these things like in action like this. I don't know if you guys could see this. So we could actually see each element on like what index they're on. So this could be helpful for some of you guys. Okay, if that makes sense.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Little tricks. I feel like they're all using Chromium, right? But then all the browsers are different, which makes no sense. Only on, I don't know, freaking the world of Windows and browsers is ridiculous. But yeah, I think we're good to go here, guys. Let me see. Maverick had his hands up. Who else had their hand up? Again, guys, let me know. Talk to your boy. This is what we're here for. Talk to me.
Hey, how'd you do that 3D view again?
So you go to Microsoft Edge. Okay. You go to Microsoft Edge, right? And when you go to Microsoft Edge, then you go to the website that you want to go to, right? That you're working on. You inspect the element, just like in Chrome, right? They're all using the same engine, but each browser has different little things. So you can actually see the 3D view through here. Now, I'm not sure if Chrome has this because they used to have it. I can't find it the same way how I was able to find it before. And you can see the 3D view. And if you don't see the 3D view here, click on this plus icon and you'll see this is all tools that they have. You got the animations tool, you have the 3D view, and a whole bunch of other things that come with Microsoft Edge. Now, I'm pretty sure Chrome has something similar to this. I don't remember if they ever added it. Because you see, if I click over here, I don't see those options of like adding extra tools to the developer tools down here. Yeah, so it's like you got to use all the browsers. It's like one browser right now I'm using is Firefox, and I'm also using Chrome, and I'm also using Edge, and I use all of them for different situations. You know, and it's always good to test, you know, your website out to see if it works on any of those. Okay, let me see, Alex, what you got to say?
Hi, Joe. First time caller. With my work, we've been at my work site. We've been using. They're trying to teach me C#, Visual Basic, and stuff of that nature. I'm kind of relatively new to this. You couldn't do this type of same C# or Visual Basics. You couldn't use this using Web Developer too, or is that something different?
Well, from my understanding, you could do something similar to that with like .NET, but you could still, the same thing that we're doing right here, you could implement it to C# and you know, .NET, not even C#, but .NET, the framework, because this is a web page, right? This is a website. Now, this website, we could go in and have a server that is in PHP, have a server that is in .NET. We could have a server that's in Node.js. So once we have the HTML, CSS of this, we could connect this to anything.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, definitely. So what's good, Bruce? Let me know.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, great, man. Hey, great project and awesome community that you got going on here. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, of course, bro.
Oh, okay. Question I have. Yeah.
I was agreeing with you.
You deserve the kudos, man. A question that's kind of unrelated to this project, but I'm working on something else that's related to HTML, the emails.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to get an idea of what I'm trying to just build some sample emails for my portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I get a collection of assets for building an email?
Your Gmail. You could go to Gmail. You could go to there's a website that have HTML emails examples. Let me see if I find it.
So you're saying if I were to, let's say, because what I've been doing is I would just like do a Google search for a type of email that I want to build, like a transactional or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing I've been able to do so far is just maybe take an email, download it, and then use like Photoshop to like crop out all of the sections of the email for the
mm-hmm.
you know, the different pictures and buttons or whatever. Is that I mean, but the quality isn't very good, so I don't know if that makes a difference as far as like for presentation purposes when you're trying to, you know, build something for your portfolio.
Mm-hmm. So again, for your portfolio, you have a whole bunch of emails on your Gmail account. I mean, I'm pretty sure you have Gmail, right?
Sure.
So if you go to Gmail, right, you could go in and literally you'll see that you have primary, social, promotions. So if you're clicking here, promotions, this is where you have all your emails that people send you. Like, this is like Foxwoods, right? This is like the casino. This right here could be considered a promotional email, right? And you can see everything that's in here. Now, you could also go in and say, this right here is another promotional email. And guess what? All of these images, you could go and take them and recreate the same email. Now, not looking at the code that they have there, because if you go in and take the code, then you're pretty much cheating. That means that you don't know how to do it, but you want to go in and get the assets. You want something that looks professional, get the assets from your own emails. Okay.
Yeah. So how am I grabbing them?
How? By right clicking, save image.
Save.
Oh, that's it. It's a website. It's a website, guys.
Oh my goodness. I've been doing it the hard way. I've actually been like downloading images and then cropping out portions of the image.
I mean, you could do that if, like, let's say, for example, this is the website I was trying to find, which is HTML email examples, right? And reallygoodemails.com. So reallygoodemails.com, they don't give you the assets. So, and because it's not an email to you. So you could go in and click in here, and guess what? You're gonna have a whole image, right? So, because what they do is they screenshot the email, and then from there, you basically just have an image. But if you go in and you use something like Photoshop and you really wanted this email, you could take this email from this website, reallygoodemails.com. And all you have to do is crop each section. Like, take this image, take this image, take this image, right? Take this image. And you could do all of that with like Photoshop.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah. I mean, that's the harder way. That's like, you do that if you have no choice. You be like, man, this is the type of email I want. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you have no emails like that on your Gmail, then yeah, go ahead and you have to put in the work, right? But 99% of the time, you have emails that are amazing already on your G. Like, no need to go through. That's like an extra hour, 2 hours of work.
Yeah, wasting a lot of time doing that. And then at the same time, when you do that, you don't always get a very good image.
Yeah,
image quality is kind of poor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great, man. That's pretty much that'll move me a little bit forward in my process. Thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is what we do on the accountability meeting every Monday. Like, as people come in, they have questions, like right now we're done with this project, right? Let me go in and make sure we stop recording.